Title: The Hidden Hands of Power in Jamaica. The illusion of independence. Jamaica's road to independence in 1962 promised self-governance and national pride. But beneath the celebration lay inherited institutions built for control, not liberation. This chapter investigates how colonial legacies, land ownership patterns, bureaucratic structures, and elitist politics were never dismantled, only rebranded. We hear from historians, economists, and elders who witnessed the early days of nationhood, revealing how foreign influence and internal power grabs undermined the dream of true freedom. Babylon system. Borrowing the Rastafarian phrase that equates authority with oppression, this chapter captures the disillusionment of the Jamaican poor. From downtown Kingston to Clarendon's hillsides, citizens voice a common refrain: DI system set. Through street interviews, poetic interludes, and community footage, we portray a people boxed in by bureaucracy, exploited by politics, and abandoned by policy. PNP, JLP, two sides of the same coin? For over 80 years, Jamaica's political stage has been monopolized by two major parties. This chapter traces the origins of PNP and JLP, revealing how rivalry gave way to tribalism. Footage of election clashes, garrison community interviews, and testimonies from insiders unveil a power dynamic where loyalty is bought, opposition is punished, and corruption thrives under the banner of democracy. Politics of poverty. Poverty in Jamaica isn't accidental, it's systemic and often politically incentivized. This chapter exposes how vote buying, bushing jobs, and political patronage have become normalized in low-income communities. Political operatives, social scientists, and residents illustrate how these manipulative practices create a cycle of dependence that keeps communities vulnerable and voices silent. Guns, garrison, and government. This harrowing chapter explores the violent marriage between politics and crime. We delve into the creation of garrison communities, where party-aligned gunmen enforced loyalty with deadly force. Former dons, displaced residents, and retired police officers unpack a dark legacy that continues to shape the socio-political landscape of Kingston and beyond. Please like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow. Thank you. Let's continue. Foreign aid. Local theft. Jamaica has received millions in aid, yet many rural and urban areas remain underdeveloped. This chapter traces how aid meant for health, education, and infrastructure is siphoned off through padded contracts, phantom companies, and complicit officials. Economists, journalists, and former contractors trace the money trail, illuminating the massive gap between donor intent and public impact. The cost of corruption. Here, we explore what corruption feels like on the ground. Viewers enter understaffed hospitals, crumbling schools, and drought-stricken villages. A teacher shares how she buys chalk out of pocket. A nurse tells of surgeries delayed due to missing supplies. This chapter lays bare the human toll of a broken system that steals futures as casually as it does funds. Whistleblowers and watchdogs. Corruption thrives in silence, but not all stay quiet. This chapter honors the journalists, auditors, and insiders who risk careers, reputations, and lives to expose wrongdoing. Through intimate profiles, we learn what drives them to resist and the consequences they face for doing so. Despite threats and exile, their stories become beacons of courage. Justice denied. Jamaica's justice system is described by many as justice for sale. This chapter dives into long-standing judicial backlogs, prison overcrowding, and cases where poor Jamaicans spend years on remand. Legal aid workers, wrongfully accused citizens, and retired judges reveal how unequal access to justice deepens the social divide. Resistance in the roots. Resistance grows quietly but powerfully across the island. Community gardens, youth mentorship programs, and independent media platforms are challenging the norm. We spotlight local heroes, teachers, organizers, artists who are planting seeds of change, proving that resistance isn't always loud, but it is persistent. Diaspora and divide. While many Jamaicans abroad send home remittances and investments, a cultural and economic disconnect often exists. This chapter explores the dual role of the diaspora as both lifeline and lightning rod. Interviews with diaspora leaders and returnees uncover tensions over leadership, privilege, and the right to shape Jamaica's future. Reclaiming the future. The final chapter is both reflection and vision. Activists, students, and reform-minded leaders paint a picture of what a just Jamaica could look like. With calls for constitutional reform, transparency tools, and civic education, this chapter invites viewers not just to hope, but to act. The system is set, but it's not unchangeable. Please like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow. Thank you.